is 27 News First at 11.
As storms continue to move across the bluegrass, we're tracking them live on the First Alert Defender. Details coming up in your forecast.
Emergency workers rushed to a central Kentucky farm to try and rescue a man buried in a trench collapse.
The victims are often forgotten.
A detective says he's hopeful justice will be served 20 years after his father and uncle were gunned down while on duty.
And there is no one else responsible for my sins.
And John Edwards reacts to a mistrial in his campaign finance fraud case. Now we're hearing what may be next for the disgraced politician. 27 News First at 11 starts now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. Right now, strong storms moving through the WKYT viewing area.
And they have the potential to become severe. That's why it is a 27 First Alert Severe Weather Day. Meteorologist Carrie Hall is tracking the storms for us on the First Alert Defender. Carrie?
Well, we've been watching these storms the past several hours, and it seems that the forward movement of the storms kind of hit a brick wall. We've seen them just to the west of the Lexington area, and it's been pouring rain for a couple of hours, anywhere from Cynthiana down to Georgetown, extending farther to the south and west around Lawrenceburg and down to the Springfield area as well. So these storms have been slowly making its way off towards the east, and we've also seen some of those storms redeveloping around the Paducah area. So once it finally does move into your area, it could rain for quite a while, continuing into the morning. Temperatures are now in the mid-60s, 68 degrees in Danville, 73 degrees in Somerset. So the colder air is starting to work its way across the bluegrass. So as we go into the morning, this rain will continue with some heavy downpours and occasional lightning, and that colder air will continue to move to the south, and it will be a chilly day tomorrow. We'll talk about that in your forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Carrie, thank you. Now to a developing story tonight. An effort to rescue a man buried in a trench collapse has come now to a tragic end. Within just the last 90 minutes, we have confirmed that 41-year-old Jay Ballard of Georgetown died while working on Old Oxford Road off of Newtown Pike in Scott County. Our Kristen Kennedy is there now to tell us about the recovery process.
Crews have suspended all recovery efforts until the rains let up. They are now waiting to recover a Georgetown man's body. The Scott County coroner tells us Jay Ballard died Thursday evening from suffocation. He says Ballard was trying to fix a water line break beside a stock pond when a 4-foot-high wall of the pond collapsed in on him. The coroner says Ballard was with his girlfriend at the time, who tried rescuing him from the mud, but she was unsuccessful. Fire crews from both Georgetown and Scott County are working now to recover Ballard's body. Again, those recovery efforts have been suspended because of the rain and the lightning. Right now, there is a lot of heavy equipment down there for this recovery effort, and if they go any further, they could get stuck because of these storms. In Georgetown, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT 27 News First.
And we are told that Tucker Yoakum Wilson in Georgetown will handle all the funeral arrangements.
A motorcyclist has died after colliding with a car earlier tonight. Lexington police say a Chevy Impala turned into the path of the motorcycle at 3rd and Race Streets. Police say the biker wasn't wearing a helmet. His name hasn't been released. Police have not said if any charges will be filed. Executions in Kentucky may resume later this year after a move today by the state's Justice Cabinet. The death penalty has been on hold for nearly 2 years because of questions over the injection used to execute inmates. WKYT's Gabriel Rojas talked with a man who hopes today's ruling will help bring justice.
Victims are often forgotten.
Dennis Briscoe has waited a long time for justice since Ralph Bays murdered his father and uncle. The convicted killer has lived on death row for nearly 2 decades. He's one of several inmates who has exhausted his appeals and challenged the 3-drug lethal injection method as cruel and unusual punishment. Claims that Kentucky's 3-drug cocktail violates the 8th Amendment are not new. In 2007, the United States Supreme Court ruled the method constitutional. However, that was before other states began using a single drug system some consider more humane because of problems with the ingredients in the 3-drug cocktail. Debate over the competing methods was a critical factor that led a Franklin Circuit judge to temporarily halt executions across the state. Last month, that judge ordered the Department of Corrections to consider a change. Now state officials say they will propose a new system by the end of July.
I'm glad to see a proactive move by the Department of Corrections in order to help fix this situation that we have with the death penalty currently.
If that new system proposed allows for a single drug execution, the judge in the case has ruled that any claims of cruel and unusual punishment by inmates will be dismissed.
I'm optimistic now that there's going to be this recent move or this recent change. However, I'm cautious as well because there could be a whole nother line of arguments.
In Lexington, Gabriel Rojas, WKYT 27 News First.
Today's developments could lead to a new system as early as late summer.
There is late word tonight that the Justice Department probably will not retry former presidential candidate John Edwards. That's what a law enforcement official has told the Associated Press. Earlier today, Edwards' trial ended in a mistrial. He was charged with using campaign donations to hide an extramarital affair. Edwards spoke out shortly after a mistrial was declared.
While I do not believe I did anything illegal or ever thought I was doing anything illegal, I did an awful lot that was wrong.
In all, the jury heard 17 days of testimony and deliberated for more than 8 days.
Lexington Street is back open tonight, hours after it was shut down because of a suspected meth lab. Lexington police now say they didn't find any active labs. However, all of the components to make one were found inside the home on Sherrill Lane off Harrodsburg Road. One person was arrested on drug charges.
That'd be the last thing you would expect, is something to do with drugs in this neighborhood.
I didn't even think that there could be a lab in this neighborhood, but yeah, this is two houses down, so it makes me kind of nervous.
The name of that suspect has not been released.
New information tonight on the search for a burglary suspect we told you about earlier this week. According to workers at the Fayette County Detention Center, 40-year-old Eugene Courtney is in jail charged with theft and burglary. Lexington police had been looking for Courtney in connection to burglaries at the Heartland Hills retirement community. And before you go to sleep tonight, investigators want you to make sure that your garage and car doors are locked up. Jessamine County Sheriff's deputies say that tools and other items were stolen earlier this morning from neighborhoods around Harrodsburg Road stretching into Fayette County.
Secure your vehicle. The garage door openers, like I said, it's convenience to kind of put them somewhere in your car, but maybe think about taking those in, just make it a less of a tempting target.
Deputies say the Clays Crossing, Cross Woods, and Windhaven neighborhoods were all burglarized during the crime spree. So far, no one has been arrested.
There's a new leader for the Rupp Arena Arts and Entertainment District in downtown Lexington. Tonight, the Herald Leader is reporting former UK Administrator Frank Butler will be project manager. That will include looking into how major renovations to Rupp Arena and the Lexington Center will be financed. In a statement, UK President Eli Capilouto said he hopes the commission will work with the University of Kentucky to make the entertainment district a reality.
You will see them at most fairs, festivals, and outdoor celebrations. And now the state is wanting to examine how to keep you safe under the tents at these big events.
Kentucky hasn't seen a devastating collapse like the one at the Indiana State Fair when a stage collapsed. WKYT's Tim Johnston, though, shows us the technology that's improving, but safety remains the key point as the new code is put together.
Summer is around the corner, and with that typically comes festivals, fairs, and outdoor fun. But there are dangers, like this video from the Bluegrass Fair in 2010, where a tent collapsed and injured several people. Or worse, this deadly event at the Indiana State Fair last year.
Kentucky, you got the Derby, you've got NASCAR, you've got Rolex. We have a lot of temporary structures. We don't want a tragedy.
So Jack Coleman and others in the Department of Housing, Buildings, and Construction are looking at the code for the next year, and they're looking for help.
The code probably is outdated. We were proactively trying to reach out to industry and get them to help us.
Terry Bryant of Bryant's Rent All is one of 19 members on the panel, and he recognizes the need for safety.
We put our best foot forward to try to make sure everybody is safe.
But being a part of this committee will have a bigger impact.
This state is allowed us to come in and meet with them, so we come up with some good regulations.
Their input is very vital to adopting a good code that really protects the public.
And everything is falling under the microscope. How to anchor the tent, the structural integrity, and safety plans. And it's all to keep you safe for the next time you walk under one of these tents. Tim Johnston, WKYT 27 News First.
The committee's first public meeting is 1 week from today.
In the morning, we should have a better glimpse of how the economy is doing. Ahead on 27 News First, why investors were so happy to end the month of May.
And former Lexington Legends president and CEO Alan Stein is back in the swing of things. We'll tell you about his latest career move.
Now, 27 First Alert weather.
Storms continue to slowly move across the bluegrass, but the good news, the severe threat is going down tonight, but we are still dealing with some very heavy rain. Live First Alert Defender showing those storms as they continue to creep into the Lexington area, but it's been raining just to the north for several hours and also to the west of the Lexington area, and we're also seeing some very frequent lightning and gusty winds, especially on the leading edge of these storms. Expect those winds to really pick up. You'll see some lightning and then it will rain steadily for a while once that initial line does move in. And once the showers move into the area, it's going to rain for quite a while. These showers still extend over towards western Kentucky, but most of the activity has been drawing to the north and northeast. And as far as rainfall from today, some of those areas getting the rain over an inch in northern Kentucky, but as you head farther to the west in Taylorsville, close to 2 inches of rain so far and close to an inch in Frankfort. So that rain still falling there, and in southern Kentucky, some lesser amounts, especially with those storms that moved in earlier today. But the cold air is already beginning to work its way in. It's 64 degrees in Lexington. As we look farther off towards the west, temperatures in the low to mid 50s. This is a very strong area of low pressure and a cold front that is being dragged across the region. Expect some heavy downpours overnight, but once again, that threat of the hail and damaging winds is going down, and into the early morning hours that rain will continue, and especially into eastern Kentucky as our temperatures drop into the 60s. You definitely want the umbrella and a good jacket tomorrow because it's going to be quite chilly. Temperatures starting out in the 60s and then dropping into the 50s in the afternoon. This is about our average high temperature for March 1st, not June 1st. As this area of low pressure continues to move in, some very cool air behind that, and we could still see that rain lingering into early tomorrow with some good rainfall totals. And yes, we do need a good soaking, and into the weekend, high pressure continues to move in. That will give us some sunshine and help our temperatures warm up as well. So these cool temperatures will not last long as we go into the beginning of next week. In the forecast, temperatures dipping well below average for tomorrow, warming up though for the weekend with some sunshine, another chance of rain early next week, but staying seasonable through at least the middle of next week.
Gotta get these storms out of here so we can get to this good weather.
Yes, and they're coming at a good time. Okay. We're going to get them out of here before the weekend starts.
All right, good deal, Carrie. Thank you.
Good weather for this Saturday as hundreds of people will be lacing up their sneakers in an effort to stop diabetes, including a Lexington teenager on a national mission.
Logan Gregory is a youth ambassador for the annual Step Out Walk to Stop Diabetes in Lexington. She's had type 1 since she was 2. Recently, she was named National Youth Advocate by the American Diabetes Association for her work to educate others about the disease.
I've always been an advocate and a fundraiser for my local Step Out Walk chapter, and it's kind of stepped it up to a whole new level. I get to travel all over the place and meet a lot of new people. I've been up to Washington, D.C.
Well, I will be there this Saturday. The Step Out Walk begins Saturday at 8:45 at Keeneland. We hope you'll join us.
There is a new National Spelling Bee champ tonight. Coming up, the word that won it all for a 14-year-old.
And tomorrow's Mega Millions jackpot is $12 million. Saturday's Powerball jackpot, $164 million.
We are working on some breaking news tonight. Right now, firefighters are battling an intense house fire.
It broke out in Georgetown on Dawning Court, that is near Lemons Mill Road. In this picture from our crew that's on the scene, you can see that the garage of the home is destroyed. We'll have much more information on 27 News First this morning from 5 to 7, so we'll hope you'll tune in then. On Wall Street, May was a miserable month for stocks. The Dow fell 26 points, or more than 6% for the month. The Nasdaq slipped 10 and also fell more than 6% in May. Tomorrow, the government releases its full jobs report. Analysis predict the unemployment rate holding at 8.1%.
It's gone. Members of a Central Kentucky church say it's only a matter of time before they replace a controversial billboard. Someone stole the message atop the billboard along News Circle between Old Frankfort Road and Leestown. The message displayed scripture verses about abortion and homosexuality. It was paid for by the Bluegrass Church of Christ.
Not surprised, but disappointed. It cost us $700 to replace it. Besides, we're paying $7,700 a year for the sign and rental.
That church member, Daniel Moody, says he believes the billboard showed up defaced at Trust Lounge in downtown Lexington. We contacted the owner of Trust, who told us a piece of artwork that's a replica of the billboard was on display, but it's not, he says, the actual sign. Thieves who took off with sewer grates around Lexington could face felony charges once they're caught. Nearly a dozen sewer grates and manhole covers disappeared from Willard Street and Valley Avenue. Officials say the thefts could cost taxpayers thousands of dollars. Crews spent today replacing the covers to prevent any injuries.
Today, a federal appeals panel heard from Karen Cipher's attorney. One judge said her attorney's argument that Cipher didn't receive proper representation during her trial was a waste of everyone's time. Cipher is serving 7 years in prison for trying to extort U of L basketball coach Rick Pitino. No decision was reached today. Former Lexington Legend CEO and President Alan Stein didn't spend much time in retirement. Tonight, we have received word that Stein has formed Stein Group LLC. It is a business management consultation company with a mix of for-profit and nonprofit clients. Stein ran the Legends for 11 years until last October.
Get up, huh? G-U-E-T-A-P-E-N-S. Get up, huh?
There you go. 14-year-old Signa Natapati of San Diego is the Scripps National Spelling Bee champ. Tonight, she correctly spelled guet-apens, a French-derived word that means ambush, snare, or trap. She is an avid reader and coin collector who wants to become either a psychiatrist or a neurosurgeon. I would not bet against her.
Hats off to those kids.
My
goodness. Well, Rob's up next, and another region championship decided tonight.
The 10th region title on the line, and a key call made in the 7th inning made a big difference. And who would Anthony Davis most like to meet up with when he goes into the NBA? That's next in sports. Anthony Davis now has 28 days to the NBA draft, and unless something astounding happens, the New Orleans Hornets will make him the #1 pick. What's in store for him in New Orleans? Well, the Hornets have the potential for a formidable front line. It includes Emeka Okafor and 7-footer Chris Kaman. Davis told ESPN how he hopes to fit in.
Try to stretch out the defense, me having guard skills, try to bring all bigs out and blow them by with my quickness. Stretch the defense with my shooting. Also, ball handling, beating bigs off the dribble. Defensive-wise, bring a little intensity. Block shots, rebound, lead the break if I have to. Just want to do what I have to do to make my team win.
Well, Davis went on the Dan Patrick Show earlier today. Said he was nervous last night. Davis said he's looking forward to going against his teammates, but the player he can't wait to face most is Kobe Bryant.
Probably Kobe.
Really?
I play LeBron as good. Yeah, Kobe, he's a monster. So I want to just go out there and just try my hardest. A lot of guys can't stop Kobe. So if I stop, I want to be one of them guys that say, I shut Kobe down.
Be careful what you ask for, Anthony. He listens to the show, and he's got a great memory here.
So I'll be waiting.
Davis later tweeted his comments about Kobe were out of complete respect for him and his game. He said he is a legend. John Wall became the first Wildcat ever to be drafted #1. It appears Davis will be the second. Coach John Calipari is poised to send as many as 6 more Wildcats into the NBA next season, which could bring his UK total to 15. Could Cal possibly have 6 first-round picks?
It would be a neat thing. 5 players drafted in the first round has only been done one time in the history of the sport by us 2 years ago. 6 players drafted in the first round. It'll never be done again if it happens, unless it happens here again. It won't happen anywhere else. So it may happen again, but it's only going to be here at Kentucky.
Harrison County has been a fixture in the 10th Region Finals. Tonight, the Breds playing Bishop Brossart for the title. The winner headed to next week's state tournament. The Mustangs wasting no time getting on the board, top of the first, and it's Zach Fardo going deep to left. Big fly, solo shot, 1-0 Brossart. Jump ahead to the third now. Trevor Beazold, this one into the wind and left. That's long gone, another solo shot, and it was 3-1 Stangs. But Harrison comes back. Bottom of the third, catcher Hunter Hill rips the double down the third base line. Cody Honeycutt comes around, ties the game at 2. Now we go ahead to the 7th inning. The bases are loaded for Harrison County. The Breds trailing 4-3. Brossart's Carner Verst hits Hill, which would force in the tying run, but no. The home plate umpire put Hill back in the box, saying he leaned into the pitch. And look at Harrison County coach Mac Whitaker. He can't believe it. Brossart would get a pop out to end the game, and the Mustangs are the 10th region champion. They win it by a score of 4-3. And in the 11th region softball tournament, Scott County shut out Madison Central 6-0. Marley Tevis is the MVP there. And getting ready for the Belmont Stakes, Triple Crown contender I'll Have Another nearly hit by a loose horse this morning during training. It created some anxious moments, but I'll Have Another was not touched, and he went on to gallop a strong mile. That's sports. We'll be right back.
A father-son pilot team from Kentucky about to reach the end of an amazing journey.
Graham and Gray Lang took off from the Georgetown Scott County Airport on Saturday in a twin-engine plane. They've been hopping from airport to airport across the North Atlantic and are expected to arrive in their final destination of southern England tomorrow. Graham says the trip is on his father's bucket list. Well, good for them, and safe travels, I guess.
Imagine that, father and son team doing that. That's fantastic. Well, hopefully when they come back, the weather will be a little bit nicer, although this weekend looks good, but tonight a little rough maybe.
Yes, we're going to hear those rumbles of thunder for tonight as those storms continue to work its way off towards the east, and it will continue for quite a while. We could have about an inch of rain in some areas, especially around Lexington. And to the east, we've seen some scattered showers. Expect more storms overnight.
Bet you're glad the spelling bee stories are over. You've had to say every spelling bee word this week.
Wondering how I got stuck to read all those stories with words we're still trying to figure out. Okay.
Well, thanks for watching. Tomorrow's Friday, so if you have a good one, we'll see you tomorrow.
Have a good weekend, too. Take care.